Humberto Rivera, Transit Manager. Mr. Mayor, good to have you back, Council. This is basically to provide an opportunity for interested parties or agencies to be heard with respect to the social, economic, environmental aspects of the project. Interested persons know they've been able to submit. We have anybody present for comment?
Oh, no, I don't have any participation requests.
No, so what, as soon as you're done explaining it, Mr. Rivera, we'll open it up and see if anybody wants to comment.
Okay. The city is now in its 10th year of managing the transit program. The Transit 5311 grant application is due on February the 23rd, 2022. And it for the next funding cycle, which is 2 years. That will begin October 1st of 2022. It goes through September 30th, 2024. We're in the midst of the budget preparation for the new grant application. Again, like I mentioned, 3-year funding cycle, which will include capital needs as well as administrative, operating, and possibly planning funds to continue the program. The transit program has been shown to be successful with 33,432 riders for last year. And provides much needed service to the community. Ridership numbers are steadily increasing, about 5%, and we continue to fulfill the Bisley connection, which includes stops at Cochise College. The Cochise connection route has also increased ridership and provided another source of transportation to our residents in the region.
Excuse me, Mr. Rivera, real quick. Let the record show that COSA is now present and accounted for at 5:48.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
For your consideration today, it's the opportunity for the City of Douglas to apply for a 2-year funding grant for the Douglas Transit Department to fund administrative operations, possibly planning and capital needs. ADOT reimburses 80% of the administrative cost, 50% of operating costs, 80% of planning costs, and 90% of the capital costs. Local match funding is being met with partnerships with the Call Center, Cochise College, Freeport McMorran, SIGO, the Legacy Foundation for the Cochise Connection, and the contractual service we have with the City of Bisley. Staff will continue to seek grants, partnerships, and other methods to meet the local match funding to minimize the impact to the general fund.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Open it up to the public. You can go ahead and have a seat, Mr. Rivera, if you'd like.
Thank you.
For those of you who just arrived, we're in the middle of a public hearing about transit. If that's what you'd like to comment on, please feel free to come forward. Last call. Okay, item number 5, adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
The motion, we adjourn?
Is there a second? Motion by Mrs. Morales to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? We stand adjourned at 5:54. Invocation by Pastor Michelle Kelly of the Grace Methodist Church. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, please.
Mayor, council members, citizens of Douglas, let's be together in an attitude of prayer. May the words of our mouths, the meditation of our hearts, and the work of our hands be acceptable unto you, Almighty Creator. We offer our thanks for all that you have created for us. The warm sun on our backs, the chilly nights for cuddling, the food on our tables. For this and even our very lives, we offer our thanks. We have appointed this time and place to come together to be about the business of this community, your little diamond in the desert. Grant that we are mindful of the people we represent. Their business is our business. Their wants and needs are our wants and needs. Make us mindful of those whose lives and livelihoods have been impacted by COVID, unemployment, homelessness, pain, anxiety, and all those other human frailties to which we succumb so easily. Guide us in the ways which lead to solutions as we yet serve you in our community. Bless this council as they make decisions and plans which affect us all. Give us strength for the day at hand, rest for the night. Surround us with your grace, enfold us in your love, and lift us in your spirit. We pray all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Kelly. Would you please take a couple of minutes to tell us how the labor is going in our ministries?
Just a couple minutes.
That's why I tried to say a couple minutes.
I am currently pastor at Grace United Methodist Church here in Douglas, one of 3 that I pastor in southeastern Arizona. I have been here 7 years now, and I love Douglas. I think it is a diamond in the desert. I have enjoyed the people and the things that this town has to offer. And I don't know why I wasn't here sooner. But I spent 31 years, I've been 31 years in the ministry. And I spent the first 15 in northern New Hampshire. It got too cold and the snow got too deep. And I said, Arizona, here I come. So I've been here about 16 years. But I appreciate being invited to do this. It warms my heart to hear the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation at a public meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Kelly. God bless. Item number 4, roll call, please.
Mayor Donald Hewish,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Margaret Morales, Councilmember Mitch Lieberman,
Here.
Councilmember Dania Acosta, present. Councilmember Ray Shelton,
Present.
Councilmember Michael Valdenegro,
Present.
Councilmember Jose Grijalva,
Here.
City Manager Ana Urquijo, present. City Attorney Dennis Fitzgibbons,
Present.
Treasurer Luis Pedrosa,
Present.
Item number 5, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. Ms. Andrade, do we have anybody?
yes, we have one, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you. Susan Bailey, come and address us.
Hi,
community. I've lived here almost 4 years, I guess. And I came to address an issue that's been going on for almost the time I've lived where I've lived, regarding a problem with a neighbor. It's been going on for like 3 years, and nothing is getting resolved or solved to do anything about the ongoing issue. I've been to the police station several times, I've been to City Hall a number of times, talked to a lot of people, and nothing's going on to resolve the problem or do something about it, I guess. And it's really disturbing my life.
Okay, so we have some, has heard, come to City Hall.
Yeah, so that's, I need some help with the resolution of solving the problem, because I'm not gonna go on another 3 years with the craziness. That's pretty much.
Okay, thank you very much. Item number 6 of Black Proclamation. I've asked our Mayor Pro Tem, please read that proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas Black History Month is an annual opportunity to recognize the central role of African Americans in the history of our nation, and whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions of African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, social, and political development, and whereas the National Commemoration of Black History in the United States dates back to 1926 and was initially observed the second week in February to coincide with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, and whereas by the late 1960s, the week had evolved into a month, in part to the civil rights movement and a growing awareness of the experiences of African Americans in our country, and whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. resolutely said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of the skin, but by the content of their character." And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. astutely stated, "Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." And whereas Black History Month was officially established in 1976 by President Gerald R. Ford, who called on the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history, and has since been recognized by every U.S. president. And whereas the City of Douglas honors the significant contributions and advances made by African Americans in our community, our state, our nation, and throughout the world in such areas as education, medicine, art, culture, religion, public service, economic development, politics, and human rights. And whereas we see the greatness of America and those who have enriched our society. Now therefore be it resolved that Donald C. Hewish, Mayor, and on behalf of the Council, does hereby proclaim February 2022 as Black History Month, and urge all humanity to join in celebrating the contributions of African Americans. In witness whereof, Mayor Donald C. Hewish, Mayor, hereunto sets his hand and caused the seal of the City of Douglas to be affixed this 4th day of February 2022.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales. Item number 7, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. Item A, expenditures for the month of January 2022 totaling $1,979,642.04. B, meeting minutes for January 12th, 2022. And C, Transit Advisory Committee resignations of Linda Jones and Jesus Aro, and Transit Advisory Committee appointments of John Bond, Matthew Gurney, and Jessica Urea, effective February 9th, 2022. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve consent agenda items A, B, and C as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Montenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 8A, first reading of ordinance number 22-1142, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a departmental reorganization affecting various departments and amending ordinance number 631, 673, 728, 842, 04-871, 09-954, 13-1027, 18-1086, 19-1103, 19-1108, and 21-1133, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mrs. Urquijo?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. You have before you today and first reading of an ordinance to reorganize and consider a restructure of some of our departments. So in just over 3 months, I've had the opportunity to assess the teams and our distribution of work. We've had some turnover in some key areas, and we have some huge challenges ahead in terms of positioning our city services and our planning to really be able to benefit the city in a very positive way with potential growth, mostly as a result of what's coming our way in terms of our port of entry in the future, our construction of our new port of entry, but also many other needs as we recently convened in a retreat setting and had mayor and council prioritize major policy issues. You know, that is going to position us in a way that we have, or the city manager's office will have, a very strong need for a strong bench and a core team. And this primarily addresses the reorganization of some of the departments. With the loss of some of key positions recently and the difficulty in recruiting some of our key positions, such as our city engineer, public works director, and our finance manager recently as well, we have a bigger need to restructure. So we are creating 2 new departments as part of this restructure. We are consolidating some divisions and eliminating a department. This kind of just consolidates very important functions still, but into more of a core team to deliver, I think, a higher level need into the community. We also request a reclassification of a position and also converting some positions from limited status to permanent status in one of our departments. So this is all shown in the packet to include organizational charts, and we have staff here to go into detail on any particular item or any specific areas. But I wanted to just state that this is kind of the first look at just strengthening the bench again, but not at all minimizing the need to consider employee retention across the board in the organization and maintain an employee-centric approach that will remain a priority as we come to you again as we begin our budget discussions. And I am cognizant of that, and I'm cognizant also of the efforts that Mayor and Council has already started in past years toward the effort of reaching market for our employees. So this is a comprehensive look from my perspective, but we have these immediate needs to kind of establish that key bench because of the loss and continued vacant areas of some very key roles. So with that, I open it up for question, and again, we have staff here to be able to direct if there are some very specific details needed on any of the items in your packet.
Let's get a motion on the floor first for discussion. Yes, Mr. Lindemann.
I move that the mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 22-1142, its first reading by number of title.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lindemann, second by Mr. Shelton to place resolution number 22-1142 on for first reading, right, Mr. Lindemann, is what you said?
That is correct.
Yeah.
First reading, thank you. Discussion?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Lindemann.
I looked through this and I think this is a very good change that Mr. Aquino is proposing. We all know that we have many challenges put forth in front of us, and especially in the future. And I think that with Mr. Aquino's leadership, we can handle that. And this is a very good start.
Thank you, Mr. Lindemann. Anyone else?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Baldanero.
I'd like to open it up for table, more discussion if good on this.
Is your desire to move to table the item?
Yes, sir.
Then you just say, I make a motion to table.
I make a motion to table.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Baldanero, second by Mrs. Acosta to table the item. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann,
No?
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
No.
Councilmember Montenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Moncada,
No.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
No.
Mr. Mayor,
Mayor votes no, motion fails. You can continue with the discussion.
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Grijalva.
my thoughts on this is, whatever's easier for staff, as long as it's explained what department is getting eliminated, how they're going to work together, who's reporting to who. I don't think we should be making it more of a burden for staff. Again, whatever's easier for you all, I'm in favor of it.
Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. Yes, Mr. Shelton.
I can tell there's been a lot of thought put into this. And I agree with this. And one of the comments that Anna made was, we're trying to hire people, not only here. I mean, I've been all over the Southwest, no matter where I go, it's a business or whatever. Help wanted, quality people. And I don't know where they're at. Or even someone put in for a job. So I can see this would be a good fit for us, and I think we need to at least look at it and try it.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please, Ms. Morales.
I just wanted to comment, there was a lot of work that went into this reorganization. And I believe that these changes are good for the city. They're going to make the city more efficient. And I know that we have a tremendous number of employees, professional employees, that will continue to lead our city forward. So I appreciate all the hard work that was put into this for people and all the staff that worked on it.
Thank you, Mrs. Morales. Anyone else? Mrs. Urquijo, could you please just summarize your, how you went about, i.e. talking to all the department heads, leadership meetings, personally visiting all the departments, getting to know them, how you came up with this?
Absolutely. So started out really with one-on-one meetings with our leadership team when I arrived. That spanned out into one-on-one meetings with every employee, which are still underway, but moving along. And then just really starting to dissect where our strengths are and what makes sense to kind of group functions in like types of functions, neighborhood resources, community services, and also blending in and leveraging the strength of all of our leadership. So this is really a package that presents to you a form of succession planning, utilizing your skill sets within the organization to pave the way for the future, to strengthen the bench, again, as I stated, so that when we do have loss in key roles, there's a cross-functional approach of many of those skill sets that will aid in bridging the gaps that are created. So I'm here to serve 3 years with, council blessing that we get through that time frame, of course. And in that 3-year period, I want to also ensure that we take care of our what we have internally. We have so much skill internally, lots of talent, lots of qualified staff, and to be able to mentor that staff in a way that provides some succession planning for our future. Should we continue to turn over in some of the areas, my approach is more of a cross-functional approach to be able to solidify that. And we have done that in many of our discussions. We've asked for letters of interest for different opportunities. We have some innovation teams underway in one of the departments that has had a loss of key staff. And so we're trying different things. And I think that kind of summarizes for you the interactions that I've had with not only leadership, but staff all the way down the line to the staff as well.
Thank you. It also feels to me that what came out of our mini retreat that we had out at the college was that looking towards the future, but not forgetting what we have right now. And I can see that in this reorganization, and I think it will be beneficial in the long run. We may want to talk a little bit about tweaking this or that or the other, but I think it's something to definitely to work with as we study it over the next 2 months.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may, we are bringing into the second reading more detail on the job descriptions that follow and detail on the direct reports all the way down the line. This is kind of your high-level description of the abolishment, creation, reclassification, that level.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the council?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, please, Ms. Acosta.
My concern, and I have shared it with Ms. Urquijo, is just that our organization become too top-heavy with too many directors. And I understand we're looking forward at the growth that we're expecting, but I'm not sure that we're quite there yet. Another concern that I have is obviously with the key position of finance manager not jumping over to finance director, that puts our deputy city manager with a lot of added duties, and it just, I understand that it's going to be fluid and people will pitch in where they can, but the finance function is just such a cumbersome, important, detailed function that it just really worries me not having, losing that position, losing that person, and just I wish something would have been done to retain that, because I remember the finance manager position being open for quite some time before it was filled with our previous employee. That's just, just looking at the organization, it does make sense as far as, you know, the growth that we're expecting. I just don't see that yet, you know, right now. And we're talking growth in, you know, 5 years, maybe. You know, that's at least what what I have understood is that the growth is obviously not going to be overnight, but it's going to be gradual and coming in about 5 years. So that was part of the reason why I think we couldn't table it. But,
Thank you. Good points, Mrs. Acosta. Anyone else? Do you have any member of the public that requested to speak on this item?
No, Mr. Mayor.
In that case, we have a motion on the floor. Do you want to say
Yeah,
something else, Mr.
I'd like to
Shelton?
say one other thing. I'll agree with you, but I think down the line, if we see it's too much, then we can get that corrected and put, you know, put another box in there and hire somebody else and, you know, go down the line.
Thank you, Mr.
That's why I'm saying I like this at this time, and thank you for all the work that you put into this.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. We have a motion on the floor to approve the placement of ordinance number 22-1142 on its first reading by number and title only. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes?
Councilmember Acosta? No. Councilmember Shelton?
Yes?
Councilmember Negro?
No.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the first reading?
Mayor?
Point of
I
order,
move
Mr.
that
Mayor.
Oh,
If I may
you need
just
to read it?
the-
You need to
the
read it
title.
first? Thank you very much.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Dallas, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a departmental reorganization affecting various departments and amending ordinance number 631, 673, 728, 848, 04-871, 09-954, 13-1027, 18-1086, 19-1103, 19-1108, and 21-1133, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you, Ms. Andrade. Now may I have a motion to approve the first reading?
Mayor?
Mr. Lindemann.
I move that the mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 22-1142.
Is there a second?
And place it on
Oh,
second reading
thank
by
you.
number and title only.
My apologies, Mr. Lindemann. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Lindemann, second by Mr. Grijalva to approve the first reading of ordinance number 22-1142 and to place it on second reading by number and title only. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes?
Councilmember Acosta? No. Councilmember Shelton?
Yes?
Councilmember Valdenegro?
No.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, to undertake a departmental reorganization affecting various departments and amending ordinance number 631, 673, 728, 848, 04-871, 09-954, 13-1027, 18-1086, 19-1103, 19-1108, and 21-1133, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 8B. Resolution number 22-1486. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the submission of a 2-year grant application to the Arizona Department of Transportation encompassing the October 1, 2022 to September 30, 2024 timeframe for Section 5311 Rural Public Transportation Program funds to continue public transportation services via the Douglas Rides program. Does the council need any more information for Mr. Rivera on this item? Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Point of order, Mr.
I
Mayor, may I have a
make a
motion?
motion.
Oh, that would work better, wouldn't it? Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor?
This,
Yes.
yeah.
Ms.
I move
Acosta.
that mayor and council approve resolution number 22-1486.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Acosta, second by Mr. Valdenegro to approve resolution number 221486. And it's obvious that I want to get home to my dear wife's birthday party. I apologize. But we'll do it right, because I got good help. Now any discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes?
Councilmember Acosta?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes,
Councilmember Valdenegro?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 8C, resolution number 22-1487. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the city of Douglas and the Greater Cochise County Digital Jobs Accelerator Partnership to provide its members to organize key community and regional stakeholders into working groups for developing the digital technology section in Cochise County. Mr. Kiko, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the Arizona Regional Economic Development Foundation, or AREDF, approached us. They're applying for a RISE grant, which will help to build out digital economic opportunity here in Cochise County. One of the requirements is to form a partnership, and Douglas is among their key partners to be part of what they're referring to as the Greater Cochise County Digital Jobs Accelerator Partnership. Douglas will have a stakeholder seat on that committee or commission, and the working group will be focused on the shared goals and needs of the digital technology industry cluster for Greater Cochise County. So it's an MOU. It sets out a resolution also to provide many partners. We did receive all of the signed partnerships already for those cities that have joined on, and that's what this solidifies, is the city of Douglas's approval to be a partner in that effort.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Shelton.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 22-1487.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is that you? It's a motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mrs. Acosta to approve resolution number 22-1487. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mrs. Acosta.
This is great. I hope that it is something that we can truly capitalize on as far as making ourselves, our county and our city known for hopefully technology. I mean, nowadays with all the different remote things that are available in technology, I've always thought that our city is really, in a good spot to benefit from this, and also hopefully this will encompass partnering with the schools and Cochise College, and kind of trying to get students, to look at technology as a career field, which could potentially keep them in Douglas. So I hope that this, helps with that.
Thank you, Mrs. Acosta. Well put. Anyone else? Do we have anybody from the public that would like to comment?
Mr. Mayor, I do not have any public participation request.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes?
Councilmember Acosta?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes,
Councilmember Valdenegro?
Yes.
Councilmember Grijalva?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 8D, authorizing the city of Douglas to enter into an agreement, Amendment 1, with the Arizona Department of Corrections Rehabilitation and Reentry, ADCRR, for sewer services. And seems like Mr. Pedrosa's always wanting to discuss sewers.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Yes, it's one of my favorite topics. You recall the mayor and council approved the revised agreement for ADCRR, formerly known as DOC, for providing them sewer services out to the prison on Highway 191. The ADCRR reached out to make some housekeeping changes, and we also took the liberty to change some items there, not substantial items that needed to be changed as well. Basically, the changes were to fix the billing to be more of a simple billing on the prior month billing as opposed to an average billing. So we simplified that. Now that we have a process in place that allows us to do that, we had installed that system first because we didn't think we would have the capabilities to be billing in that fashion. So we make sure to clarify that. ADCR wanted contact to the Central Office Facilities Division as well. And they wanted planned service interruptions to be notified 96 hours in advance as opposed to 48 hours. We also took the liberty of implementing the recent water and sewer increases into this agreement before they were implemented as if the ordinance passes, because we were not fully, they had not fully passed the mayor and council, so we took the liberty to insert that language there. We also changed the prison to an industrial user as opposed to commercial user. That is the appropriate designation. The flat fee is less, but the usage is higher, so it is favorable to the city. And adjusted the credit as well that we issued to the ADCR for the two commercial buildings that were there that are receiving sewer service, and they get a credit for that in accordance to the new water and sewer updates. That, Mayor, I open up for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion, please?
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council authorize the city of Douglas to enter into an agreement, Amendment 1, with the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation and Reentry, ADCRR, for sewer services.
Second?
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mr. Lindeman to approve this agreement amendment 1. Any questions or discussion? It's a hot topic, guys. Do you have any public participation requests on this item?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, they can't get out, can they? I'm sorry. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lindemann?
Yes?
Councilmember Acosta?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton?
Yes,
Councilmember Valderejo? Councilmember Caput?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Morales?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9, city manager report. Do you have anything to report this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'd like to just announce that we do have on our website and in our social media platforms our notices for public input sessions for our airport concepts for future development. And we have 3 sessions, 2 in-person sessions. February 15th and February 17th are the in-person sessions at the Border Air Museum from 4 to 6 p.m. And then we do have an online session via Zoom on February 18th at 5:30. And the information and links to the Zoom meeting are on our website and also on those social media platforms. So we can also direct questions by calling my office for any of that information. Just a quick update also on the street light on 10th Street in San Antonio. We do now know that we need full replacement of the traffic control box. There's been attempts and efforts to troubleshoot the problem, and we will have to go through a complete replacement. It seems that we will be able to troubleshoot enough to try and get that going on a temporary fix, but I'm waiting for some engineering reports on that. The problem right now seems to be with the supply chain demand and the delay in trying to get that new box delivered. So we will keep some notices out to just let staff know. We did have some patrol monitoring, because now that school is back again, we had a concern of some of the area there just with the high traffic with school in the morning, so we are continuing to monitor that and make sure that the four-way stop is followed, because we're kind of sensitized to not having a four-way stop there, so it takes a little while to get used to that, but we'll work on trying to get that remedied. Upcoming public input meetings to watch for, streetscape and downtown revitalization will be posted soon, to have public meetings on that as well. We will get that on the website as soon as we have one more internal stakeholder meeting for that before it goes out for public input. And that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Urquijo. Item number 10, informational items and reports from council and future agenda item requests. Mr. Grijalva?
Thank you, Mayor. Commodities Day, the 17th. I'm very humbled with the response after last meeting. I had a lot of people message me wanting to help, so I'm expecting a nice turnout for volunteers next week. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Grijalva. Anyone else in the council? Item number 11, adjournment. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Ms. Morales,
make a motion to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second?
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Ayes have it. We stand adjourned at 6:40.
Good night. Have a great birthday party, Mr. Mayor.